People are talking about RM and Jisoo seen at a museum. There are people pointing out the fact that there is a woman that looks awfully very similar to V, and then we have people believing that Jimin has addressed the recent dating rumors. Hey Dumplings, it's Dave Disci. Let's get into it. Recently, Jimin has been getting some backlash as he was believed to have addressed the recent dating rumor he had with Song Da Eun, or potentially still has. He did a live stream right after the fashion show he did with Dior, and he said the following. I will read it verbatim. He said, "I'm living with the realization that being a good adult and living a good life aren't easy. I'm just pretending to be an adult." That was the part that drove most of the controversy, as a lot of people were saying that that is a direct response to the dating rumor, even though at best it is indirect. The response just talks about how difficult it is to be an adult. What on earth does that have to do with dating? The fact of the matter is he did grow up. He did have to learn how to be an adult, but also being an adult in an industry that's really hard. Being an adult does not have anything to do with dating. Being an adult is realizing that you have to pay your healthcare bill, or you have to pay your taxes and those things, which as we know, he has struggled to do. I don't think taxes, but the healthcare. And he's of course fixed those wrongs before. And as I said, he's struggled to do those things. These are responsibilities that you get when you're older. So to me, that response was just talking about how he has a good life and there are responsibilities that everyone has, including him, that he may have forgotten or accidentally neglected or realized, oh, being an adult is very difficult, which of course also matches up with the difficulty of being an ambassador for a global brand. This isn't to specifically rehash those incidences like the healthcare thing, but it's specifically to say that life and being an adult is not just about who you're with romantically. And we as a society, especially Western culture, we put a lot of emphasis on that. But a lot of the comments have come from Korean netizens, actually. I will say, especially in Western culture, we do put a huge emphasis on you're not an adult until you sleep with someone. And without getting too graphic, this would exclude a lot of different people because we can't even properly define what the definition of sleeping with someone is. And yet we're putting this huge emphasis on what you need to do to be an adult. He said nothing about a relationship, right? And I want to emphasize this because there are literal hate comments when translated from Korean to English that said things like he should have just never addressed this to begin with, or saying things like he hasn't changed how he addresses things, or that he is an avoidant man because he's avoiding controversy. All this from a statement about how hard it is to be an adult. A statement that we all say. This is genuinely a big problem that I have with the K-pop community, is it's so delusional. They'll take things out of context. Now, is this statement translated correctly? And does the Korean context of the statement mean something different? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, this is a direct translation, and with the use of AI and all that stuff now, we should be able to get a fairly decent translation. And it has nothing to do with the relationship. This is all something that was fabricated by these people to give some sort of closure to this incident and a problem that doesn't exist. There are so many strange things that happen in the community, and definitely some things that I'm not sure how it's even possible. We're not about to talk about something really negative, but something actually kind of funny. There was a model named Hwang Ji-Min, and the model is probably the splitting image of V. I mean, if she shaved her head or had the same haircut as V, they would essentially be identical twins. If I were to put two images side by side, you would think that that was just V in a wig, or that this model just cut her hair to look like V. So they look very similar. Obviously, this was extremely interesting to the community. This is something that went super viral in the community, and people had a lot of things to say about her. First off, of course, they're wondering if he is even aware of who this model is and what his reaction would be to seeing her, and if they would want to meet and kind of do something, although I don't know what they would do. But it would also be interesting because her name is technically Jimin, which is extremely interesting, right? I don't even have to explain that. And then apparently her birthday aligns with JK, or at least allegedly. I don't know the exact date, but that's what people are saying, and I don't know if her birthday is public information. This is absolutely hilarious. I don't think the universe could get more interesting than when they do things like this, right? Because what are the odds something like this can even happen? The universe is definitely very strange and can play really interesting jokes like this. I doubt she isn't aware of the comparison, as I imagine a lot of her comments say things like this. Quite frankly, I don't have an explanation for this, right? I do think that they are both Korean, but there have also been cases like JK, for example, and I believe his doppelganger was a Japanese woman. So cases like this are almost even more strange to me, because how do you look the same when you are a completely different race? However, what's amazing for models who look like really big celebrities is that they can kind of ride that wave a little bit and eventually build their own thing. And I'm sure she's already done that. But yeah, I definitely wanted to share that with everybody because I thought this was so interesting and funny. And definitely go give her a follow or look her up, because she definitely slays, and she's not just someone that uses her looks, or some models will just use the fact that they look like a celebrity to progress their career. She definitely does not do that, as a lot of the things that she does, V has never done before, nor would V do. She'll have like really bold makeup and that sort of stuff. So I love her. This is great. She seems amazing. I love this whole situation. I think it's all very well and fun. But now we'll get back into a dating rumor that has progressed really far right now. And it's very interesting because I don't think anyone really thought this. And this is the rumor of RM and Jisoo dating. It's so interesting how the community has sort of developed and changed over the years. Because I remember back then, people were talking about the fact that this would be such a weird combination. So much so, I remember seeing tweets of people saying that imagine if the BTS members or some of them are dating, but they're just dating girls that we don't think of. So they're not the combination that we're thinking of. So obviously JK and Lisa was very common. Then some people were saying, imagine if it's JK and Jennie or RM and Jisoo. And the reason why that was said was because that was such a strange combination to the community. But now it's something that's being rumored and people actually believe it's true. Now it's important to note that there isn't any huge recognizable belief that RM should be dating someone else, right? So there's no narrative that is big where people are saying RM is dating JK or RM is dating a BTS member. There's none of that shipping thing. And there's no motivation from that part of the community to push RM to date someone else, to make RM's love interest available to another member. I hope that makes sense. There's no one from the shipping community that's trying to push RM to date another person. So where does this rumor come from? Well, apparently RM posted a vlog about a week ago of him in Europe, and the vlog was very cute. It was very relaxing. I definitely recommend you give it a watch. He was just going through different museums. He was showing the food that he was eating, and he was just exploring Europe, but just kind of going to shops, going to museums, and going to restaurants, and it was just very mellow. I mean, that's probably how he likes to explore. I definitely will have to try to explore that way anytime I travel because it seems like a great time. And in this video, it was seen that he went to a museum. Towards the end of the video, though, he took a picture with the Ferris wheel in the background, as well as he took a picture next to a bunch of different artworks. Now, Jisoo posted an Instagram photo a little while ago that showed a very similar thing. Picture with the Ferris wheel, as well as showed the exact exhibit that RM was looking at. And of course, not everything is posted in real time, meaning they could have been together during when these pictures and pieces of content were recorded, but then posted later. Some people thought back to say you can see it in the vlog that RM is with other friends, and then of course other people are saying, well, they must have been with each other, like Jisoo and RM, and they must have been dating. Now, neither of these rumors obviously make sense because them going to a museum also does not imply that they're dating, right? It could just be that they're going to a museum and hanging out. And then the argument that he with his friend also doesn't make sense because it's not like a friend couldn't tag along as a third wheel when two people are dating. So sometimes when these arguments are made, I tend to think, why is this the argument that's being made? Because it doesn't actually help, especially since the friend in this case is essentially the gatekeeper of all the information and can be the one to expose whether it's true or not, and probably could eventually, right? Either on purpose due to a falling out or by accident. So if RM wasn't with a friend, then obviously it would have been true according to these people, right? That's a logic that doesn't make sense. And then on the other hand, if RM wasn't with this friend, then obviously it would have been true, right? To these people. I don't know why that doesn't make any sense. I do personally believe that there was a different timeline here. And I do personally believe that this is a very popular exhibit that a lot of European visitors and tourists go to. So it's just a popular exhibit. That's like saying if they both went to McDonald's, they're dating, right? Because at the bottom of all this, it's just an exhibit that a lot of people who go there are probably going to want to see. It was definitely something that piqued my interest when I first saw it, and so I will be heading over there. But obviously that must mean I'm dating Jisoo or RM too, right? Despite maybe wanting to, I don't. Although if you guys want to make that rumor, I'm not stopping you. And of course, if they are dating in the future or have any interest in doing that, I think that would be fantastic as well. And I'm not against that at all. I don't want to say that I'm against it, but what I'm saying here is the evidence or quote evidence that we are seeing does not make a lot of sense. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.